Hey guys, how you going? This is BillyEatWorld, and today we're going to take a look at the top 5 worst guns in BF4. There's a ton of different guns to choose from in BF4, but like any game, with the good comes the bad, and these 5 guns I think are probably the very worst. These guns might not necessarily be completely useless, but statistically they just either don't make sense, or they're underpowered compared to other weapons in their category. In any case though, just remember that this is only my opinion, so if you have a different top 5, or if you happen to really like one of these guns, then feel free to let me know in the comments section below. But anyway, to kick off, coming in at number 5 is the Type 95B1. Now, I think most people would agree that this gun is one of the worst weapons in the game, but the reason it's not higher on this list is because carbines aren't that bad in general. Even the worst carbine is still better than all of the other guns on this list, and I must admit, I didn't really have that much trouble capturing decent footage for this video. The reason it does make this list though is because it's a low RPM, low recoil weapon, and that makes it better suited for long range gunfights. The problem is though, it's also a bullpup design, meaning it gets a buff to mobility at the expense of reload time and standing ADS, which doesn't exactly complement a long range playstyle. So coming in next, at number 4 is the RFB. Like the Type 95B, this DMR just doesn't really make sense because it's also a long range weapon in a bullpup configuration. The reason it's higher on this list than the Type 95 though, is because DMRs rely on accuracy at long range, and the RFB is less likely to benefit from being a bullpup. The RFB is fairly unspectacular with an average rate of fire, the same standard damage model, and relatively average stats across the board for everything else. The only advantage it does have is a slightly better moving ADS and hipfire, which doesn't even come close to balancing out the nerf to standing ADS and reload speed. So coming in next at number 3 is the PP2000. This gun is basically the low RPM, low recoil option of the PDW category, which is pretty much exactly the sort of thing you don't want in a PDW. The role of PDWs is to dominate in close quarters, and if you really want to use a low RPM long range weapon, why not just use a carbine instead? The PP2000 has terrible standing accuracy, a steep damage drop off, and a pretty bad muzzle velocity, which means that it's never going to be as good as a carbine at long range. The only advantage it has over a carbine is a larger capacity and better mobility, but neither of these things will make up for all of its disadvantages. So coming in at number 2 is the QBS-09. Part of the reason this gun is so high on this list is not just because it's a fairly ineffective weapon in-game, but because it's one of the most popular shotguns with new players. This gun is the starting weapon of the shotgun category, and it ends up being a magnet for noobs with bad aim because you can just spray and pray in its semi-automatic mode. The fact is though, none of the semi-auto shotguns have a huge advantage over most automatic weapons, and the QBS is probably the worst in the category. It only has a capacity of 6 rounds, and considering most kills chew through around 3 to 4, it's rare that you'll be able to take out more than 2 guys without reloading. And finally, unfortunately, coming in at number 1 is the M60. The M60 is such an iconic weapon in real life and in Battlefield games, but unfortunately the pig took a massive dive in BF4 to probably the worst LMG in the game. The weapon balance is pretty good in BF4 now, but one of the inconsistencies that has never been ironed out is the fact that the M60 is outclassed by just about everything else. It has the slowest reload time and rate of fire of any automatic weapon in the game, and the M240B and the PKP are better in almost every single category that counts. For this reason, even though it looks and sounds awesome, there's really no competitive reason to use the M60, and unfortunately, I doubt it's going to get a patch anytime soon. Now, just before I wrap up this video, I should point out that stats do change over time in BF4, so there is a good chance that some of these guns might get a buff. In the upcoming spring patch, we should see a fairly big rebalance in the way that damage works in-game, so that could shake up this list quite a bit. In any case, most of these guns have well and truly had a place in the top 5 since the game came out, so I doubt they'll change a lot. Hopefully they do get a buff though for you guys who really like these guns, because it would be great to see them get a little more use than they do now. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and as always, if you like what you see, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Also, check out the links in the description below if you want to see more of my videos, or if you'd like to support my channel on Patreon, and until next time, see you later and have a good one.